Hey everybody, it's John back with another video, and today we're playing Izzet Budget? An Izzet Budget spellslinger deck with no rares or mythics.
Really?
I promise. So let's just jump right in and start talking about the deck. But first, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, what this deck wants to do... So first we're going to talk about the creatures that actually want the spells. First up, we have Delver of Secrets, a 1-mana 1/1, with, at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library, you may reveal a card. If an instant or sorcery card is revealed this way, transform Delver of Secrets, and it transforms into Insectile Aberration, a 3/2 flyer. So the best thing that can happen is we play this early, we get the flip, we get in for some damage, and then we burn our opponent out for the rest of the way. Moving on, we have Kessig Flame Breather. A 2-mana 1/3 with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Kessig Flame Breather deals 1 damage to each opponent. And also we have Thermal Alchemist, a 2-mana 0/3 with Defender that has tap to deal 1 damage to each opponent. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, untap it. So these guys are our pingers. Whenever we cast a spell, they're going to do 1 damage to opponent each and every time. So what kind of spells are we going to be running? Well, a few kinds. We're going to be running card draw, burn, and just different types of removal. So we're going to go right into those. Starting off with the card draw, we have 4 copies of Consider, 1-mana instant. Look at the top card of your library. You may put a card into your graveyard. Good for getting rid of lands that we don't want, and also a draw card. And we have Expressive Iteration, 2-mana sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them in your hand, 1 of them on the bottom of your library, and then exile 1 of them. You may play the exiled card this turn. So Expressive Iteration is just a great card. It's kind of the glue that holds some Izzet decks together. Moving on, we're going to talk about our burn spells. We have 4 copies of Play with Fire, dealing 2 damage to the opponent's face, or it can hit creatures if we need to. If we hit the player, we are incentivized to do so by being able to scry 1, which is another way of getting rid of some lands or digging a little bit deeper for spells. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Royal Eruption. It deals 3 damage to any target, and it also has Kicker for 5. So if we do kick it for 5, we can do 5 damage instead. Not very likely that's going to come up. 7 is a lot of mana. It can just be kind of difficult to get up to that kind of mana later on in the game. We also have Spikefield Hazard, a 1-mana sorcery that doubles as a land, and also it deals 1 damage to any target. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die, exile it instead. So good card to have in the deck. That just fits right in the mana base. Moving on, we're going to talk about some of the removal spells that we have. We have 4 copies of Fading Hope, 1-mana instant, return target creature to its owner's hand. If its mana value was 3 or less, you could scry 1. So it could be, we can use this to save our own creatures in a pinch, or we can use this to get rid of opposing threats. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Frostbite, since we are running Snowlands. Frostbite deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. So another good piece of removal, getting rid of early threats, also cheap and able to trigger our pingers. Moving on, we have Demon Bolt. Demon Bolt deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So this is good for getting rid of some of those big angels or even some of the big creatures that green might throw at you. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Magic Missile. Just 2 copies, a 3-mana sorcery. The spell can't be countered. Magic Missile deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. So this card can just be like a 3-mana Wrath against mono white in some games. Just a good value card. As far as mana base goes, pretty simple. We have 8 snow-covered island and 7 snow-covered mountain to enable Frostbite. And we also have 4 copies of Prismari Campus, a dual land that can also give us a little bit of utility. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. Thank you so much for watching. So now we'll get into some of the games so we can see how the deck performs. Okay, so those were the matches. So final thoughts. The deck performed how I thought it would, I guess. Boy, okay, I feel like in those first two games, I got pretty lucky. You know, turn one Delver, it flipped the very next turn, and I was able to just get in those early hits. But that's really what you want to do, get in those early hits with your Delver. That's why there's so many spells in the deck. You want to drop your Delver early, get in some early game damage, and then finish everything off with your burn spells and your Alchemist and your Flame Breather. The last match actually showed some of the issues, right? So we got unlucky and had Prismari Campus as our only blue source to even drop the Delver. So our Delver came a turn late. It also didn't flip the next turn, so it didn't really get to do anything. And we kind of just stalled out. You know, we couldn't really, the opponent wasn't really playing any threats, and the hand that we kept only had the one threat in the Delver. And well, actually no, even when we got the Alchemists, they just wiped them out. So that's just a weakness in the deck, right? When you're only running 12 creatures, you know, they're pretty important. So if they just keep getting killed and wiped, the burn spells aren't really going to be able to do much unless you were able to get in those early game Delver hits. But overall, I feel like the deck is fairly solid. We have a lot of answers for things. I mean, someone dropping 4/4/4 angels is usually pretty tough to deal with unless you're running sweepers, but this isn't really the deck for sweepers. I could see an argument for Cinderclasm, since it does, if you know, on kicking it, doing 2 damage to everything. Everything that we have is 3 toughness, aside from, of course, the Delver. But the pingers in the deck, which is actually the majority of the creatures that we have in the deck, are pretty much immune to the Cinderclasm, right? But yeah, there's not really too much to say. The deck just performs well. Delver's just a good card, but honestly, not bad at all for a deck with just commons and uncommons, no rares or mythics. But aside from that, the deck functions pretty well. It's also very flexible, so you can kind of just have some fun with it, add some cards that you like to it. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching. Again, especially if you've made it this far, you might as well like the video. Please, it does help the channel out a lot. Also subscribe. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.